can you actually lose fat and build your glutes at the same time? This is one of the most frequently asked questions that I get, and the answer is either going to surprise you or it may frustrate you because it depends. So, in this video, we're going to dive into who can achieve losing fat and building muscle at the same time, why it won't work for everybody, and how to set up your training and nutrition for the best results so that by the end of this video, you know exactly how to structure your plan based on where you're starting. So let's get into it. So whether you can lose fat and build muscle at the same time is going to depend on your training history. So how long you've been training. And when I say training, I mean actually following a properly programmed routine that aligns with your goal and takes into account training intensity, takes into account volume. So how many reps and sets per week, per month, exercise selection. So making sure you're doing the right exercises in the right way for your goal. So for example, if you are trying to build your glutes and you're doing exercises with the quad bias, that's not going to elicit glute growth. So training history is a big one. And also, if you've just been going to the gym and doing whatever workout pops up on your timeline, whatever workout your favorite influencer posts is, or following random YouTube videos, then you likely have not been training. You likely have been just working out. And it's important to understand that distinction because that is going to impact your ability to get specific results. Next thing you have to consider and what it's going to depend on is your nutritional habit history. So have you been chronically dieting, trying to lose weight, lose fat for a while, under eating consistently in a deficit? And then also it's going to depend on your body fat level. So your starting body fat percentage is going to be important to consider because it's easier to lose fat and build muscle if you have a higher body fat percentage, especially if you're newer to lifting weights. So those are the three things that we have to consider because that's going to determine if you're going to lose fat and build muscle. So when it's not possible is when you are not new to strength training and when you've been following a deficit for a while. So if this is you, it's going to be hard for you to simultaneously lose fat and build muscle because your body has likely adapted to what you're already doing. It's adapted to your training program already. And if you've been in a deficit for a while, your body has likely adapted to nutrition and it is in a fat loss phase. So you're going to need to switch things up and eat a little bit more calories, eat in a surplus in order to stimulate muscle growth. Now, if you're new to strength training, it's a different story. It's actually going to be in your favor to lose body fat and build muscle at the same time. And the reason for this is because you haven't really developed enough muscle to need a calorie surplus to grow muscle. So basically, because strength training is going to be something new to your body, is going to be a novel stimulus, you're likely going to be highly responsive to strength training. And then when you pair that with the right nutrition, you can actually lose fat while you're building some muscle. So what I recommend is if this is you and you're new to lifting weights, you should eat in a calorie deficit and focus on high protein. And this is going to help you preserve your muscle mass while you're losing fat because there's nothing worse than when you're trying to lose body fat and you end up losing a whole bunch of muscle too. This is why cardio does not work for goals like toning because you lose fat and you lose muscle when the goal of looking toned is to lose body fat and have muscle to show. But if you're losing muscle, you don't have the toned look you're looking for. So if you're trying to lose fat and build muscle, you have to prioritize high protein, right? Then when you reach your desired body fat level, you can start to slowly transition to a calorie surplus and start eating more calories. And the reason I'm recommending this is because if you have a ton of weight to lose, if you have a ton of fat to lose, and you're not already at your desired body fat level, eating in a surplus isn't going to be a smart idea because it's just going to make you look bigger. It's going to make you gain fat. Although you're gaining muscle, the trade-off is that you do put on some fat too, and you cannot choose where you store that fat, right? So it's likely going to make you not like the way you look already, and it may make you self-conscious about gaining fat in areas you don't want to, and that's hard to handle mentally. So you should just first decrease your body fat to a desirable level, and then that allows you to create a better foundation for you to then build muscle onto. So this way, when you transition to a surplus, you look the way you want to look and you feel better about the process. But when you try to do both at the same time, you end up getting nowhere. And then just to recap all of this, the bottom line is if you are new to strength training, you're going to be in the best position to lose fat and build muscle at the same time. But if you're not new and you've been training, and remember what I said, what training is actually following a strength training program that's properly designed for you, and you've been taking into account intensity, volume, frequency, exercise selection, you've been doing all of the right things, then you want to focus on one goal at a time. You want to start with fat loss so that you can get to your desired body fat level and not be in a deficit for too long. And then once you're there, then you can transition to a calorie surplus to build muscle more effectively. But when you're trying to do both at the same time, your body isn't going to be in the right metabolic state for it. And that's going to lead to you not making progress in either direction. So if you're not sure how to structure your training to build muscle, then grab my workout creator guide below. It's going to walk you through how to put together a training routine based on your goal, based on the time you have available to train, whether you want to work out 2 days a week, 3 days a week, 4 days a week. There's a template in there for you. And then also it takes into consideration the equipment you have access to. So grab that in the description below. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. And I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.